Imagine the person you love looks you in the eyes and says, "I wanted to kiss someone else." Not because they stopped loving you, not because they cheated, but because they were lonely. And then they ask if you'd be willing to open the relationship. That's exactly what happened to a 25-year-old man who thought his long-distance relationship was stronger than ever. What happened next left him questioning whether love alone is enough to keep two people together. For 9 months, everything seemed to be working. They lived far apart, far enough that seeing each other required planning, travel, and patience. But despite the distance, they made it work. They texted every day, called each other constantly, and every couple of weeks, they would spend a weekend together. It wasn't perfect. Long-distance relationships never are, but they were happy. At least, that's what he believed. He loved her deeply, and from everything he could see, she loved him too. Then life got difficult. About a month earlier, he had fallen into a rough place mentally. Stress, exhaustion, depression. The kind of period where simply getting through the day feels like a challenge. During one of their weekends together, he felt emotionally drained. On their final night together, she initiated intimacy. And for the first time in their relationship, he said no. Not because he wasn't attracted to her, not because he didn't love her, but because his mind wasn't in the right place. At the time, it didn't seem like a huge moment, just one difficult night. But looking back, it may have been the beginning of everything. Soon after that weekend, life got in the way. Scheduling conflicts, busy workdays, unexpected responsibilities. Before they realized it, 3 weeks had passed without seeing each other. And slowly, something started changing. During those weeks apart, he became distant. Not intentionally. But depression has a way of making people withdraw. The affectionate texts became less frequent. The conversations became shorter. The emotional connection started fading, at least from her perspective. When they finally reunited, something felt different. The first night together, she broke down crying. She confessed that during those weeks apart, she had started feeling disconnected from him. Not just a little disconnected, completely disconnected. She said there were moments when she could barely remember what it felt like to be together. Moments when she questioned whether a long-distance relationship could really survive. Hearing that hurt. But what came next hurt even more. The following day, she told him about a party she had attended. At first, it sounded harmless, just another social gathering. Then she mentioned a guy who had been flirting with her all night. And that's when the conversation took a turn neither of them expected. She admitted that she wanted to kiss him. Not that she did, not that she planned to, but she wanted to. The temptation was real. And for the first time, he felt something twist inside his stomach. She explained that she had been lonely, sexually frustrated, emotionally disconnected. In that moment, she wasn't thinking about their future. She wasn't thinking about commitment. She was thinking about what she was missing. And she resented it. Not him. The situation. The distance. The sacrifices. The loneliness. Then she said something that completely changed the conversation. She suggested opening the relationship. Suddenly, everything became much more complicated. For her, the idea seemed simple. Stay emotionally committed. Stay together. Love each other. But allow physical experiences with other people. To her, those things weren't necessarily connected. Sex and love could exist separately. But for him, they couldn't. To him, intimacy meant exclusivity, trust, connection, commitment. The idea of sharing that part of the relationship with other people felt impossible. So he told her exactly how he felt. Calmly, directly, honestly. If she wanted to explore things with other people, she would have to let go of the relationship. Because an open relationship wasn't something he could ever participate in. And cheating? That would immediately end everything. The room fell quiet. For a moment, neither of them knew what would happen next. Then she surprised him. She didn't argue. She didn't pressure him. She didn't try to change his mind. Instead, she said she respected his boundaries. And despite her feelings, she chose him. She chose the relationship. She chose monogamy. At least for now. On paper, the problem was solved. They agreed to stay together. They planned date nights, promised to communicate better, committed themselves to rebuilding the connection they had lost. But sometimes, a conversation can end while the emotions remain. Because although she chose him, he couldn't stop replaying her words. The guy at the party. The desire to kiss someone else. The belief that monogamy was restrictive. The idea that love and sex didn't necessarily belong together. None of those thoughts disappeared, and neither did the knot in his stomach. For the first time in their relationship, he wasn't questioning her loyalty. He was questioning whether they viewed relationships the same way. And that question felt much harder to answer. So let me ask you this. If your partner admitted they wanted to kiss someone else, but chose not to, would honesty make the situation better? Or would knowing the truth hurt even more? And if one partner believes in strict monogamy while the other sees relationships differently, can love overcome that difference? Or is it a sign of deeper incompatibility? Let me know what you think.